Hey guys, it's Shelby. Welcome back to my channel. Look at this beautiful fucking view. This is my view for the next 4 days, you guys. It is incredible. I am here at the Montage Hotel in Deer Valley, Utah, and the sun is really bright, so I'm wearing my shades, but I landed a few hours ago. I'm here. I'm waiting on the rest of the family to get here so I can check in and get settled. While I'm waiting, I guess we need to talk about this Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein deal, the Frenemies drama. I want to make a video over this. I didn't want to work on this little vacation that I'm having, but I need to talk about this with you guys because this is insane. By the way, let's do a little makeup look here. The sun is so bright, I can't. Oh my god, do you see the shadow from the lashes? I did this makeup in the hotel lobby bathroom, so it is what it is. But we need to talk about this Frenemies drama. It is really messy and intense at this point. So anyway, if you're interested in hearing about all that drama, then make sure that you keep on watching.
Have to be your biggest fan, and when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says,
just forgive me if I sound a little bit tired, a little bit out of it. I am really tired. I woke up at 5:30 this morning and now I'm here at my hotel, and I'm not paying for the hotel room that I'm staying in. My best friend's family is, and they're not here yet to check me in, so I'm just here kind of hanging out and waiting, so I can't really even get a nap in until they get here, but that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. Just kind of forgive me if I sound a little bit tired or whatever, because I just frankly am. But yeah, we need to talk about this Frenemies drama. This is literally so crazy. So if you are not caught up on the drama, I'll give you a brief overview. I will be honest, I am traveling. I have been traveling, so you know what, I think I need to touch up my lipstick. Let me touch up my lipstick and I'll be right back. Okay, that's two different lipsticks that I'm wearing at this point now, but that's okay. My other lipstick is in my suitcase, which is up in the room that I can't get into yet. So okay. Anyway, this Frenemies drama. So if you are not caught up on it, let me just kind of tell you what generally happened. Keep in mind, I have been packing, getting ready to travel, and actually traveling during the entirety that this stuff has been going on. So I've been keeping up as much as I can, but I'll just be honest, this video is going straight from my phone to you guys, so there's not gonna be any receipts in here, there's not gonna be anything like that, and I might not have all the information, but I do want to give my opinions on what's going on so far. So from what I have gathered, it looks like Ethan Klein and Trisha Paytas have decided to end the Frenemies podcast. And the way that this kind of started was with Ethan Klein and Trisha talking on Frenemies, and Trisha was talking about the movie Brokeback Mountain. Old movie, love that movie. I actually saw it for the first time not too long ago, and it like really moved me. I really loved it a lot. But so Trisha was talking about this movie, the Brokeback Mountain movie, and then talking about how trans people are still getting murdered and all of that stuff. And as she's talking about this, Ethan kind of like motions over to somebody a producer or somebody that's working with them or something, and like points down at the pizza that they've ordered and like asks, like, do you want a slice? Like completely kind of brushing off what Trisha's talking about. Now, that's a little rude on a lot of levels, but Trisha is somebody who identifies as non-binary. They are in the LGBTQ community, and it's Pride Month as well. So Pride nails here and here, by the way, completely just brushed her off during Pride Month. Trisha being somebody who identifies as non-binary, it was just pretty disrespectful, low-key, that he brushed her off in the way that he did. And from that point on, Trisha, you could kind of see it in her eyes that she was kind of like not happy. She like kind of shut down, started getting like an attitude, and actually started insulting the production staff's idea for the next segment of the show, which was this like Trish and Ethan answer fans questions, like give advice to fans or something. So Trisha is kind of dissing this idea that that's the next segment of the show that they're supposed to be getting into, which Ethan is trying to not talk about the Brokeback Mountain thing and try to talk about what they have planned for this segment. And the person who actually came up with the idea, I believe, was actually sitting right there in the same room as them when they're talking about this. So that's incredibly awkward. Then Trisha starts talking about money a lot, and money, like how the pay from the Frenemies, the profits, everything are divided. The cut for Trisha is 45%, and the cut for Ethan is 55%. And Trisha basically was saying that they don't understand what the 5% goes to, how the show is always so unorganized and not planned right, and they're just reusing material from the H3 podcast on the Frenemies podcast, and they're going on and on about how it's just not, like, how they don't understand why they're being charged that 5%, and they want a breakdown of where it goes and all these things. So the podcast ends with Trisha being like, I need to go, we need to end this, I need to go, we need to end the podcast now. And she's pretty firm about that. And then Trisha leaves the podcast. I want to note this is the third time that Trisha has walked out of the podcast, so that is of importance on one side of the story. So then things get kind of hairy, right? Because there's tweets that are happening that are all now deleted, both from Ethan and from Trisha. And then the next day, like the day that Frenemies podcast airs, before that airs, Trisha uploads a video saying that she's quitting Frenemies. And this came as a huge shock to everybody because the podcast wasn't even out yet. So everyone's confused, like, what is even happening? Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand. So then the podcast airs, and we know something's gonna happen because of the video that Trisha uploaded. It's just, I don't know. And then, so Ethan claims to have not been spoken to about Trish leaving the podcast prior to her posting that video, which, if that's true, that is completely disrespectful on Trisha's part. They are partners. They are business partners. You don't end a business partnership by posting a video on YouTube and not consulting your business partner. Look at this beautiful view behind me. I love where I am right now. Trisha then uploads, she gets a lot of backlash for this quitting Frenemies video, right? So then Trisha uploads 2 more videos addressing the backlash, how she's saying don't send hate to the crew, Ethan is going on Twitter and saying that, like, the crew is getting so much backlash from Trisha's video and all of this stuff, and how it's just like a huge mess, and how Trisha's completely out of line. Trisha's apologizing, Trisha's saying these things, but I mean, I never watched the last, like, apology video, but from what I've heard, people are saying that it wasn't a true apology video. I have not watched that video, so I don't know, but people are saying it wasn't a true apology video because she never really apologized genuinely for anything. It's either here or there for this video because I really just don't know. Anyway, it's kind of a mess. The wind, you guys, this is necessary. It feels beautiful in Utah right now, by the way. It's like 60 something degrees, maybe like 65 degrees or something. I'm wearing a sweater and I'm sitting next to a fire. That's my life right now. I'm sitting next to a fire pit in June. Normally I'd be sweating my fucking ass off in Houston, like not even knowing what to do with myself. Ethan uploads this video to H3 podcast addressing the Trisha situation, and he very, in the most polite, professional, well-mannered way possible, kind of low-key tells Trisha about themselves, right? I'm trying to make sure that I correct myself if I refer to Trisha as she. If I do, I'm so sorry. It's not intentional. I'm really very strongly focusing on calling them a they. So that's what they would like to be referred as. So he uploads this video that is 45 minutes long. all of their content is super long, so I wasn't really surprised about that. But this is, I mean, it's basically in the most polite, professional way possible telling Trisha about themselves and about how, and the major points that I took from it were that Ethan feels like he has to walk on eggshells around Trisha, that he can't be himself, and that the whole premise of the show was frenemies and how they have differing opinions but can still get along, but how a lot of times Ethan will say something about Trisha and it's like, I mean, like, he has to walk on eggshells and tiptoe around everything because she'll get super offended. But Trish can say stuff about Ethan and like stigmatize his Tourette's or just lots of different things, right? Make comments about how he's Jewish and all of that, and that Trish, it's supposed to be okay. My thoughts on all of this, right? I think that they both have strong points. I think that, well, here's what I think. I think that Trish thought that they had a lot more say and control and a bigger part in the Frenemies podcast than they actually have. I think that Ethan sees Trisha as a star, like a co-star, like not part of the business, just a talent, if you will. And if Trish thinks of themselves as like a creator and like a huge part of it and like an owner, like, you know, part owner and all this stuff, and Ethan thinks of them as a co-star and like talent, those are two very different things, and there's a disconnect there, and that's going to lead to some problems, right? So the problem is that this was all put on the podcast. I think that how messy this is, okay, not that I'm saying it wouldn't still be this messy, but hold on, my phone's going off, getting receipts, girl. If this was never put into the podcast and edited out, then this would be a situation where they would be figuring this stuff out off camera, and half of this stuff that's happened wouldn't have happened because a lot of this stuff is public, and the reason that Ethan is so upset is because Trisha put these things out publicly about him, like receipts of their conversations and stuff about like profits and money and all this stuff, and they think that Ethan thinks that this should be handled privately, and quite frankly, so do I. It's just kind of messy. Like, Ethan, I don't know, but then again, like, Ethan in his video said that he hasn't made a dime of profit off of Frenemies. And he did specify that after the investment of the equipment that he had to buy, and after the investment of the of the merch and stuff that they're doing, which I'm sure is, I mean, it costs a pretty penny, you know, he's saying that he hasn't made a penny of profit off of Frenemies, and I really have a hard time believing that. I mean, this guy just bought a new Rolls Royce, right? So maybe the physical money from actual Frenemies and the Frenemies highlights and all of that, he hasn't really seen a profit from, but because of the popularity of Trisha Paytas and that the popularity of that show, his other videos have been, his other podcasts, everything have been thriving too, and he's gained money from that. He just bought a new Rolls Royce. You can't tell me that he's not making any profit off of this. I'm just not gonna believe it. I'm just not gonna believe it. He didn't buy a Rolls Royce for the Frenemies podcast. He didn't do that. He bought it because he wanted the car. So I don't agree with that part of it, but I also don't think that Trish should have brought up that whole money thing during the filming of the podcast. I think that everything should have been edited out to begin with. Ethan cannot really get super mad about this when he left it in the podcast to begin with. If that whole altercation was never in the podcast to begin with, then all of this stuff would have never been public knowledge, and it could have been handled behind closed doors. So we have to acknowledge that and realize that that is something that was messed up on his part. I don't think he's acknowledged that part yet. I really don't. I know he says he doesn't like to edit things out of the podcast. Well, this is pretty serious, right? This is talking about your money. This is talking about a lot of things, and that you don't want public knowledge, right? And you're dealing with Trisha Paytas, who is notoriously going to just put everything out there. so you knew who you were dealing with. You know what I'm saying? It's just very, very messy. That's kind of like all I know about it so far. I really think that both of them have played a part that was not right in the situation. I don't think that it ever should have been put in the podcast. I think that it should have been edited out, and I think that is on that's on Ethan, right? I don't think Trish should have ever brought up the money thing to begin with during the airing of the podcast. I think that they should have waited until they were done filming to bring any of that up, or insisted that it not be put in there. I don't think that Trisha should have uploaded them quitting Frenemies video before talking to Ethan. So there's a lot of things I just don't, I can see both sides of the situation, right? So that's like kind of my thoughts on all of this. I'm gonna give you guys a quick little view of what I'm looking at, and then we're gonna end this video, but it is just gorgeous. Let me just get up and show you what I'm looking at here. Okay. Oop. So this is the fire pit I'm sitting in front of right now. And I am just in the mountains in this beautiful resort, Montage, Deer Valley. This will be my view and my life for the next 4 days. And I'm so excited. It is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. And it's huge. I don't even know where I am inside the resort, actually. There's a lot going on. We have a event out here tonight, which is, I think they're starting to get set up for it. I need to get ready for that. But yeah, you guys, I mean, let's just look at these mountains real quick. Like, that is just, it's just absolutely gorgeous. You guys see? I'm just in love with where I am right now. I've never been to the mountains before, and I'm loving it. So anyway, that's it for today's video, you guys. If you liked it, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. Don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified of all of my future videos when they do post. And you can follow me on all of my social media at Beauty by Shelby. That's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Beauty by Shelby. And I'll leave that right up there on the screen for you so you can see it. If you're enjoying the Beauty by Shelby vibes, then YouTube should be suggesting a couple videos for you to check out, so I would love it if you did that. Thank you so much again for watching today's video, you guys, and I will see you in the next one. I'm about to go live my best life. Bye, guys.
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says,